San Jose State women's volleyball team has played its season in the middle of a national debate, as players, politicians, and fans have been asked, should transgender women be able to compete in women's sports?
Those people deserve as much as the rest of us to be able to play sports and be able to represent their universities, to be able to represent their country.
They are losing safety and fairness in sports because we allow boys to self-identify into girls' sports.
Even President-elect Donald Trump weighed in on the campaign trail.
Why do they want men to play in women's sports?
This season, Spartan co-captain Brooke Slusser joined a national lawsuit against the NCAA, aiming to ban transgender women from competing in women's sports. In doing so, she outed a teammate. Since then, 4 Mountain West Conference teams have forfeited games against the Spartans, some twice. Slusser declined or did not respond to interview requests with the San Francisco Chronicle and Hearst TV. She has spoken out to conservative media on multiple occasions.
Brooke Slusser.
Brooke Slusser. Brooke Slusser is the co-captain.
At this rate, there might just not be women's sports if they keep allowing this to happen.
It's sad that the school still chooses to prioritize one man's needs over an entire team.
In the lawsuit, Slusser claims her transgender teammate hits the ball harder than any other woman she's played against. She shares concerns about safety for her teammates and opposing teams, and she questions the fairness of it all.
But with so many variables at play in sports, height, strength, socioeconomics, we wanted to know, what's fair in the context of sports anyway?
Women's sports, especially volleyball, are usually not safe or fair.
Katie Oleksak is a former Colorado State University volleyball player.
If it were fair, every single player would have the equal amount of playing time. You would see everyone would look the same. There wouldn't be height benefits or different things.
Oleksak said it was a point of pride when her alma mater did not forfeit and played San Jose State as scheduled.
Do you think transgender women should be able to compete in women's sports?
I do believe transgender women should be able to play in sports. And with this specific situation, she still had to follow a ton of legislation, a ton of rules to earn not only that spot, but to earn the right to try to now earn her spot.
Beth Bourne disagrees. She made the trip from Davis to San Jose State several times this season to make her stance known.
I've seen 4 hits today in this game that were harder than any woman has hit. And I can see the difference between a male and female player.
I think what they're talking about isn't necessarily data, it's like assumptions.
I spoke with Dr. Molly McLean, a board-certified physician in New Mexico, about some of the claims around fairness.
If you're worried about someone being stronger and bigger, then why are you competing? Like, of course, there's going to be people who are stronger and bigger than you, but we don't have data that shows that folks who are on cross-sex hormones have an advantage.
USA Volleyball requires transgender women over age 18 to complete at least 1 year of testosterone suppression before competing, and to maintain levels under 10 nanomoles per liter. The NCAA also adopted that policy.
We consider anything under 50 to be fully suppressed. So if your testosterone is below 50, your testosterone is not really powerful enough to do anything for you.
The lawsuit also compares hormone levels in transgender athletes to doping. McLean finds that argument frustrating.
That makes me want to cry, because the only way that you could think that is because you've never met a transgender person. And I feel like that's probably true for most people, that I've gotten to meet people and work with them. And to imagine that people would go through that transition just to like have a leg up in a sport is ridiculous. There's a lot easier ways to do that.
Dr. McLean stands firm that there's no medical data to back up an athletic advantage for transgender women.
There is no data that shows that sports performance changes with these medications, but there is a lot of data that it saves people's lives.
The lawsuit also claims a Title IX violation, saying that allowing transgender women to compete is unfair to cisgender women.
I think that is a misapplication of Title IX, for sure.
Erin Bazuvis specializes in Title IX and sports law. She says there's a lot of similarity between this movement to ban transgender athletes and bathroom bills that try to keep transgender people from using the bathroom that aligned with their gender identity.
And the trend of doctrine is to apply Title IX as well as the Equal Protection Clause in ways that require schools to be inclusive within the category of, say, a women's bathroom, that would include both transgender and cisgender women and girls.
Bazuvis says it would make sense for sports to follow the same rationale, but it's not that simple. Trump has repeatedly said that as president, he'd ban transgender women from competing in women's sports.
Well, you can do everything. President has such power.
programs. The president can't just simply walk in on day one and yank an existing regulatory scheme or create a new one.
So an outright immediate ban isn't necessarily what we're looking at, but a challenge to the way Title IX is applied could make its way through the courts.
To what extent are we working now with courts that are not also appointed by the same presidential administration, by the same president? Judges have shown in other cases to have a tendency to side with the president.
It's important to remember that Title IX only impacts educational settings receiving federal funding. A president doesn't hold the same power and weight over professional and international organizations.
So elite athletes may not see much of an impact. College athletes certainly would, but the biggest impact would be felt at the K-12 level.
Scholastic sports are supposed to be participatory, they're supposed to be inclusive.
As San Jose State approaches the conference tournament, the division on the team has only become wider. The team's associate head coach, Melissa Beatty-Smoos, filed a Title IX complaint against the team's transgender player and alleged she threw a match against Colorado State University. The Mountain West Conference found no wrongdoing in its investigation. She was suspended, possibly for identifying the transgender player without her permission in violation of privacy rules. And Slusser continues to play, as the lawsuit she joined continues to play out within and around her team.